text, room, and whatnot. We are in the game room itself. Music also is going to be coming off for the moment. Yeah, but I'm not exactly really sure in there. The win percentage, it will be the same. They will be having the same amount of losses in the game. So I actually don't think it will be decided just by playing matches. And there might be some other factors going on. Because from what I have seen, they're actually right now having 6 losses. They would be having 6 losses if they won 4-0. And then, of course, Argentinians are already done. And they are having 3 and 1 and 2. They are having 6 losses as well. So, yeah. The only measure that would be potentially making sense to me, and that's one that we use in RTSC, but it's not really used all that often, to be honest, around the tournaments, would be actually a result against the next best opponent. That would be against China's side. And against those, Brazilians lost 4-0, whereas Argentinians took a game. So in that regard, Argentinians should be better. So yeah, kind of thinking that might be really the running idea behind it, or at least one that would make some kind of sense in me, or rather for me. As we are starting with the first game in here, and it's going to be, of course, Arabia, as we all know that. And we are looking at the scout from Skrath, who is already looking for something to steal, and that's going to be from Yannick. And Yannick is exactly looking for the same. But unfortunately for him, it seems like that the boards are somewhere back. As the one, as the second one. Oh, he can actually be getting this one. He could be getting lucky, and yeah, he definitely sees it. So that's going to be attempted stealing in here from Yannick. And is he going to be succeeding against... Oh, against Skrat as well. Because Skrat is going to be stealing also. Okay, so he's going to be counter-steal. Almost like counter-strike in here. And he could be even going for double if he felt dangerous and tricky. But apparently not. And they might be just meeting each other. Stealing the bars. Come on. Right now he's going to the left, and he's coming a bit more to left as well. Yeah, that's a bit of a shame. I was just looking for the moment where they would be just running towards each other with the ball behind them. That would be just too funny. But yeah, that's not going to happen in here. And they are just going to be exchanging the bars, which is of course not that much of a problem. And I'm just looking at Yannick, who might actually wanting to be careful. Because green might be wanting actually to come back for this ball. So definitely should be quite cautious about what is going to happen in there. I'm also looking at Ovenka already being in Goodfellas base. Yeah, you can see that. But I don't really think that he's right now stealing the ball. At least it doesn't seem that he would be doing anything like that. So it seems like that this is going to be quite okay. And Yannick should really be taking care of this ball, because I'm fully expecting that green... I was fully expecting that actually he might be coming back, but apparently not. He's thinking that's not really going to be worth it. As in the meantime, some scouts on the right. That's exactly the one from Ovenka, who's looking on the left side. Just having a bit of looking there if maybe there's going to be a board to be stolen, but apparently not. As the board is still at large, yeah, on the left, and it's going to be quite nicely captured right now by apparently Goodfella, unless there's going to be something blue, just some palisades, and the scout is going to be just a bit too slow. So yeah, not really any kind of stealing is going to be happening in there. Goodfella potentially aiming for Ovenka's boar, but Ovenka is already having one butchered. Second one is... Where? Ah, at the bottom. Yeah, that's pretty much safe. It's not going to be any kind of doubt that this boar is going to be staying with its owner. And looking, for example, at the civilizations in here, we are looking at CZs with Britons, Persians and Huns. And Britons actually is something that CZs have played even in the past rounds. I'm not exactly sure if it was against China or Argentina on Tuesday, because they played both of these other Gold League matches in one day. But it did already play the Britons, and it pretty sorely backfired, to be honest. It didn't really work out at all. They were of course having quite strong push in there for the early minutes with the archers, but they got so heavily punished. So heavily punished by opponents' knights that it wasn't nice. It just wasn't nice at all. And it was Geraldo Fribia, aka Exit, who was actually playing it. And he just did get punished for it quite hardly. So right now we're looking forward if maybe Ovenka is going to be playing it better. Not exactly sure if there's going to be any kind of option for that all that much, as he's not stolen a boar, but at least a sheep. Yeah, well, that counts as well. That counts as well, as we are waiting for Loom and potentially even advancing to the next ages as we are getting into the minutes. That should be really coming into play pretty soon. The civilizations for the opponents are going to be Aztecs, Spanish and Huns for the Brazilian team. So actually quite a lot of difference in here, just the Huns are common. We are going to be having pocket for Skull as the Persian, and then the other pocket is going to be Huns. The Huns, usually Huns pocket on Arabia is the best option that you can get, because it's usually pretty strong. But the Persians, they are basically going to be aiming for the same, and they could easily benefit from the ability to be having slightly safer and potentially even faster castle age from the extra town centers or whatnot. So yep, that's going to be quite interesting to see if maybe Skull is going to be taking advantage of that properly. And looking how he is really quite easily one of the best team game players, not only as far as CZ clan goes, but overall in the game, from the experience that I have from watching him play. Yeah, well, he could definitely make wonders in the pocket position in there. Otherwise, for example, the gold positions, as we are looking for Yannick, it's kind of frontish, and it might be a bit dangerous for him. He definitely does make a good point, building a bit mining camp in the front, not only for the efficiency because of the few more faces of the gold in there, but he has been right now scouted by his opponent's Krat, and he will know where potentially to go for the raiding, and he already drops the palisades in there because it's definitely going to be needed. Yeah, second one as well. Almost look like he's going to be leading, or rather leaving the hole in there. But yeah, that's not going to be happening. But what is going to be happening is a lot of villagers right now from Goodfellow coming into the opponent's base and trying to basically gold starving through trash. And that definitely could be working. Even though he is already on the second goal, he has probably expecting exactly that to be coming. So yeah, this tower is going to be nice, but not really anything all that significant. Asavenka, luckily for him, does have the second one. And looking how he's actually attacking the Briton. The Briton is, of course, going to be having the archers up pretty soon, and they are going to be very strong. So I'm not exactly sure what Goodfellow is going to be doing against him as a Spanish. On top of that. So archers are going to be up, and really he doesn't really mind all that much. He does have even the mill at the bottom, so he doesn't necessarily need the town center in there. So yeah, that's not really that dangerous so far, but I definitely will be looking forward to if the towers are going to be continuing to the left or to the right. It should be definitely coming to the left. And looking on the left side, we are of course seeing, a bit stronger rush with 4 militias. So are we actually going to be seeing many times right now for green? Apparently not all that much, but since these Aztec definitely makes sense that you will be pushing up. And I wouldn't be surprised by the men-at-arms, to be honest, because they really, or rather that's often what you do as the Aztecs. But apparently not this time. Yeah, just enlarging there a bit, so that he can actually get it a bit more safely, even though he's still, unfortunately, suffering quite significant idle time in there with the villager. But he definitely needs to hurry up with the archers, and yep, that's right now exactly happening. But of course, with the rush up, and very nice walling up as well, even though he's not finished yet. He should be really hurrying up into the castle edge quite easily, and since he is the Aztec, we could be really expecting quite a significant amount of some monks pretty soon coming into play and stealing the units from the opponents. In the meantime, there's going to be watchtower coming through the right side. That's actually very nicely played. Ovenka, unfortunately, absolutely unaware that his opponent is already through. He's just nicely walling and thinking, yeah, he's not really going to be making any kind of damage to me or whatever. I'm going to be just fine. But pretty soon he's going to be discovering that that's not going to be that easy for him at all. Is he going to be discovering it in time? Oh, come on. He underestimated it. He could have definitely stopped it with the archers, but right now he sees that the situation is going to be quite a lot trickier than he potentially hoped for. It's actually this... white archers berries, okay. I was just thinking if maybe there was already some attack from him coming on, but apparently not. But yeah, this is starting to become a problem because the palisades are already there. The one extra villager is going to be exactly in place, so potentially problems coming up for him. Because of course he will have to deal with this, and he has so far so desperately trying not to build towers of his own, but I'm at this stage thinking that this one that he has built next to gold, that is absolutely crucial, is not going to be the lone one that he's going to be needing. He's really having quite a long time to actually come into the opponent's base. Even though he could be really kinda annoying in there, it's not going to be that much of a problem. as apparently, yeah, the tower is going to be in time quite in there. As in the meantime, well, a few archers right now from Yannick, exactly the same spot. They are going to be forced to retreat because this is not a safe spot anymore to raid, and those skirmishes from Scrat will be exactly on top of them very soon. A few more archers coming through the left though. That basically means that all those are going to be catching after three archers, whereas the rest is just going to be having a very easy time against the rest in the Scal's base. As we are also looking at a bit of a potential raid right now coming from Skal, because he has already advanced into Castle Age as the first one, a bit faster than Mahori. Mahori at 28 villages. Oh, Skal at 27, so that's the one village difference in there. As the towers are still coming up around Ovenka, and Ovenka, even though he still does have some kind of army, is of course going to be having troubles, as the next tower is going to be coming up yet again, with the villager being pretty annoying and putting up towers absolutely everywhere. At this stage though, with Skal being already in the castle age, I'm kind of thinking that this trash is going to be losing its effectiveness, as it's going to be just a question of time before Skal is having enough units, enough knights and whatnot to help his teammate. Yeah, right now he definitely should be, exactly as we are looking at the spec chat in there. Should be attacking the tower, but unfortunately he doesn't seem to be minding all that much. He's just basically letting his opponent waste the resources, because right now he does have the safe wood line on the left side, so he doesn't need this all that much. So at this stage I would be really thinking that it's not really that bad of a choice, and it's really working quite alright for him, and apparently he already lost the archers right next to the tower, which was kinda expected, and probably a bit of a surprise for him. On the left, the archers are coming up in numbers for Yannick. So it seems like that basically we are looking at a bit of a mirror situation, where Yannick is just basically having a pretty good game against Krath, whereas on the right side is basically the opposite. Good fella having a good time against Ovenka, and it basically should mean that the game is going to be decided by the pockets, and so far we are looking at a trickle of units and knights from Skal, quite a lot more than from Mahore, but Mahore is going to be following up as well, and he is sending quite a decent amount of knights in there. And it's going to be 6 already, and well, looking like that Skal is going to be having quite a lot of defense to be executed by him, because so far he doesn't have all that much of a pressure on the opponents. Yeah, right, I'm going to be coming for the stone. That's definitely going to be useful to stop extra towers from coming up from the Spanish. Even though, of course, right now the archers are going to be just a bit too easy to kill. So it's going to be quite interesting to see if Ovenka will be switching at least to a few spearmen. He definitely should be, as another tower has finally been built. That's definitely going to be needed to even stop this. But yet another tower coming up, and this is very nicely played by Goodfella, but interestingly underestimated by Ovenka, I have to say. I would be really expecting that even after the first tower he would be already at least watching in here, building potentially even outposts to see when the opponent is going to be building some extras, as he's exactly right now doing. But yeah, those knights are sent in, and exactly the correct time for Ovenka to actually kill as many of them as possible, and he should be potentially even really fighting this. The wolf in there even helping. Yeah, the tower exactly nicely helping, and all those knights are right now dead for yellow, which is actually going to become quite a significant problem, because right now Yannick, or rather, yeah, Yannick is advancing into Castle Age. Much more importantly, Skal is all across the map. Right now going to be attempting to annoy Goodfella, kill him with some of the knights in there, and that seems to be working quite alright, because Mahor is having just one knight in here, literally for the help. You can see the 3 villages dead, 3 skeletons on the stone right now for Goodfella, and he's going to be losing even more, because this is just wide open, and he's not even quick walling, because he's fully paying attention to what is happening inside of Enka's base, and I don't think this is actually going to win you the game. You should be a whole lot more paying attention to what is happening inside your base, because you are losing tons of villages in there, even though you are at 37, which is not bad compared to Ovenka's 35. You have been like 5 more. You were having 5 more just a moment ago, and right now you are just losing everything, and apparently Ovenka is going to be not really minding all the business inside his base, and going to be coming into the opponent's ones and killing a few extra villages together with Skal. Well, it seems like basically just waiting for crossbowman from Yannick before he engages this, even though he could definitely use even more units for himself, which he definitely still is producing. And I'm kinda curious if as the Han is going to be switching into cavalry archers. He probably should be, As that's usually what you do. Well, this poor skirmisher in there. Yeah, it's getting absolutely skewered by all those skirmishes by green. And well, Yannick just paying enough attention in there. And right now crossbowman with botkin arrow coming up. And that should be quite enough to get rid of all of this. Even though there is one bit of a hill. Oh well. Curious how this is gonna go. Because the skirmishes are not that bad in there. Yeah, but those first shots... Okay, this is going to be clear victory for Yannick right about now. Scrath is just too far away. Oh, this almost looks like Pike Patrol. It definitely does. Yeah, this text that you see on the messenger in there is just basically a bit of an issue in there in Age of Mythology, where actually one guy is hosting a tournament and he offered a prize for actually having observable maps for Age of Mythology Vanilla, which actually isn't in the game, as it wasn't in the original game in Age of Empires. And the problem is that actually basically the person who did it got paid for it, but he only copy-pasted what someone else did, this guy, the Rebels Rising. So I'm having a bit of an issue with that, of course. I'm not really all that happy about how that went, so I'm going to be just trying to handle it a bit. Seeing with Rebels how much he minds it. But to be honest, I, as someone who is actually having to take care of the Age of Mythology quite a lot, I'm not all that happy, because it doesn't make for a good environment and healthy environment as far as community creators goes. It's basically a bit of a stealing content and getting paid for it. On top of that, yeah, well, that's not really great. At any rate, as we have seen the battle on the left basically going quite convincingly for Yannick, we are also looking at the battle on the right side for Skull and Ovenka going quite long ways for them as well. Yeah, Ovenka just completely ignoring all those towers. Another one went up in there. Ovenka just finally built another tower for the bit of a defense, and it seems like that he's quite easily walled up and nicely walled up in there. And even though he doesn't need this gold, it's almost looking like that the game might be over before he even runs out of this gold. It's still 1300 gold for him. As the army of both Skull and him seems to be quite strong enough, they are giving just a few extra villages. Few more extra villages than Goodfella would be comfortable with. And even though Mahore is going for a bit of raiding himself, trying to basically somehow at least force the opponents to go for a bit of defensive, they don't really need to do that anymore. Because Yannick switching even into cavalry archers as you were expecting is going to be apparently converging on yellow. Yeah, it seems like that everybody is coming for the pocket. And it should be pretty easy pickings for him. As crossbowman exactly killing all those lumberjacks, forcing a ton of villages into basically idle time. Right now you can see about 20 villages idle, and even though he's having 74, Ovenka, or rather Skull, is having the same, and he doesn't have to resort to any kind of idles just yet. Right now Ovenka does, because of the bit of raiding in here, but he does have enough army in there, and combined with the towers and especially help from Yannick, and well, especially from Skull, of course, it's not really that much of an issue. And right now Mahore's raiding is basically coming for naught, and it was a whole lot of wasted resources for him. Yeah, those towers are going to be just a bit annoying, and that's pretty much it. Even though he's still stealing at least some stone in there, it's really nothing all that engaging and important for the game. And those knights, oh well, this is going to be disastrous. Nice elite skirmishes in there. But once he gets some extra army to actually back that up, which he should be having with quite a lot, because of course Mahore is going to be having army there pretty soon with all those stables that are already in there, with husbandry coming up. They need to engage pretty soon so that they can get rid of those, and it's still, even the militia is still very much alive from the initial dash in there. Well, while this seems to be going quite alright, you mustn't forget that Mahore is still sending some knights into the middle, into Skull, and quite actually a lot of them. That's actually not a bad army to be had for him. And looking how actually Skull is not having all that much of a defense in there, just at this stage. I'm kind of curious how actually CZs are going to be dealing with this. Right now I'm slightly worried that they might be actually thinking that they are having a bit more of an advantage in the attack than they are actually having. And even though they are carrying quite a lot of army from green, it's not really that effective. They are just basically chasing behind him, not really doing significant damage, as well crossbowmen from Ovenka are going to be annoying, at least on the gold, which is something that is needed to at least slow down Mahore, because he is all across the base of Skal, killing the villages here and there, and well, finally Skal is going to be defending himself, and it seems like that those few camels with a few knights potentially on top of that is going to be just enough. Yeah, we don't see really any kind of reinforcements coming from Mahore. But still, the damage to the economy has been done. And even though Skal is right now having quite significant idols as well, Skrath is having a whole lot more, because he's having basically the army in the middle of his base, and he's losing tons of gold villages in there. And not even those, he's going to be losing lumberjacks pretty soon as well. And doesn't seem like that Mahore would be having just enough. Unfortunate battle on the left. Yeah, cavalry archers against a lot of skirmishers. Whereas I'm also looking on the right side, where finally Goodfella has been able to advance into Castle Age and is getting up with the knights as well, and that's of course quite unfortunate right now for Ovenka, because it seems like that he's actually going to be caught off guard in there. And even though it's kind of nice for him, he's going to be fighting also... Oh! Ah! That's a nice one. That's a nice one. I was kind of looking that he's actually going to be fighting in the valley, and it would have been pretty disastrous for him. Well, he did what he could, but it's going to be it for him, as right now the remainder of the army that was coming for a bit of a raiding is coming home. Or is he actually going to be switching into purple? Well, he definitely has to be careful, because there is apparently Mango now going to be waiting. Exactly. Exactly. And is he gonna get some good shot in? Being careful in there. Yeah, just now running away. Definitely needs to be a whole lot more careful in there. And on the left, it seems like that maybe we are going to be seeing a bit of a comeback from the Brazil Sea, because they seem to be just now getting the ground on their feet yet again. And they are definitely pushing forward, especially through Mahore, who is basically the only one doing some significant damage. Alright, he's still having some cavalry archers trying to go for a bit of raiding. But yeah, yellow is the only one who is applying some pressure. And is he going to be finding this soon enough? Apparently not. Just right now switching to the left side. And that's exactly what is needed, because of course Skal is right now coming for an Imperial Age. And he's going to be quite a lot faster than Mahore apparently. Mahore is going to be advancing. Well, he needs a lot of gold still. He was significantly raided by Ovenka in them, so that's exactly paying off right now. And with the cavalry archers still being in pretty decent numbers, it seems like that Yannick is going to be quite fine to give his teammate Skal as much time as he needs. As even though yellow is right now all across the map, as you can see the trickle coming up, we are also hearing some conversions. And are those conversions being from blue? Yes, they are. He's going to be trying to steal a few knights from his opponent, which is definitely a good idea. As well, those knights are coming in, but camels are also ready in there. Just enough to chat off, if they potentially aren't spoiled by anything all that much. And yep, this is going to be a very nice conversion of the knight pretty soon. Or is it? Well, it almost seems like that it should be, but apparently not all that much, as those knights from blue are going to be coming into the home base because they need to defend a bit more. But the town center is already finished, and that's exactly what is right now important for Yannick, as he needs this gold quite desperately. Yeah, this should be a pretty easy fight for Skal. Not really any kind of problem with the Imperial Age from him hitting as well. And we are also looking a bit of raiding in here, exactly in Mahore's base. And it seems like that this is going to be quite important for the next stage of the game. Because if he can keep even just a few knights from Mahore inside the base, it's going to be given extra time for Skal to develop himself into the Cavaliers and Paladins a bit later. And then when that happens, there's not going to be any kind of counterplay from the opponents at all, because they are having quite significant problems advancing into Imperial Ages themselves. We have also seen a bit of raiding right now from Ovenka a bit earlier, but unfortunately he had to retreat because there is not really anything that he could be safely assaulting. And the knights are also coming up in numbers, and the castle is going to be super important because it is going to be capturing the stone. He's going to be capturing the stone, and of course, he's also having longbowmen. Well, Longbowman, really? Well, a few knights right now also from Goodfella. Having a bit of fun inside the base in there. That is pretty much it with the cavalries already in. Yeah. And heavy camels on top of that. It should be pretty easy right now from Skull to handle absolutely everything in there. In the meantime, Ovenka is going to be basically secure in his base. Finally, after about 20 minutes, maybe even more, 30 minutes, almost, of the game time. With those mangonels, and I'm not exactly sure if he actually needs to build mangonels, because they are not really doing anything significant for him. He's not facing any kind of archers or whatnot, he's facing just a lot of knights. And after this happens, well, already stone is off. That was very nice steal in there. As Mahori just still running after all those cavalry archers, and really this is kind of interesting from Mahori. I'm not exactly sure what's the idea behind his gameplay right now, because I'll be thinking he might be wanting to go into Imperial Age as fast as possible. He did have the resources almost there, but he's apparently spending quite a lot of extra resources into more knights just about now, thinking that he needs to apply pressure. I'm not all that sure about that. I'm really thinking that actually Imperial Age would be a whole lot more effective for him. But he's probably thinking he just needs to apply pressure, as his teammates are going to be the ones attempting to advance into Imperial Ages, which also, well, on the side means that Ovenka's time is getting shorter. Because once the Imperial hits for Goodfella, those cavaliers with the paladins a bit later are going to be just a bit too strong for him, for all his archers. And yep, longbowmen, they are strong, but they are only good if you can micro them properly. You need to basically babysit them to keep them at the longest range and whatnot. That's when they actually take their advantage. But without that, they are not really all that strong indeed. Oh well, this is actually a pretty decent army. Right now it is forced back through all the raiding. It's right now applied by Skull, and he seems to be getting quite a lot of army in here. And with Ovenka arriving exactly on time, I think this could be actually a pretty good fight for Skull with Ovenka. And it seems like that right now Mahori is recognizing that the battle is not going to be that brutal in there. But yeah, he's probably going to be changing mind as soon as he sees Ovenka's army. Yeah, well, yellow right now coming into the pocket, as we are already seeing tons of army, and also quite interesting castle right in the middle of the map to basically secure the gold mine. And with the villages coming up as well, he's gonna be dropping a castle somewhere next to him. I'll be thinking maybe on this hill it wouldn't be half bad. Well, that's a lot of knights. Are they going to be discovered? I don't think so. Yeah, they basically see nothing, pretty much. So I'm pretty sure they have missed all those villages in there. As Blue is basically raiding all across the map, as he's all spread there, and killing quite a ton of villages actually for yellow, who has been dropped to 95 villages, or rather kept at 95 villages, whereas Skull is at 121, which is a whole lot more. A whole lot more than actually the opponents are having. And well, stables are going to be the unit of choice, or rather the building of choice, rather than any kind of castle. Well, he just wants to be basically on top of his opponent, and he's definitely damn lucky that all those purple guys haven't noticed those villages. But yeah, that's how it goes, and that's how it goes in this game. A bit of a fight on the left as well, with Skala and Yannick trying to raid their opponent Scrath, who is getting further right about now. So apparently we are going to be seeing a few monks in there trying to steal some cavaliers, but yellow is right now yet again forced into a bit of a defensive, as he didn't have strong enough units against Skull at all, and Skull is coming for the paladins. Oh yeah, even though cavaliers are coming for Goodfella, they are also coming for Yannick. Much more importantly, really, the paladin and the Imperial Age from Ovenka. It's just going to be a bit too strong, I'm thinking, in that, as there is also pretty significant raiding by Skull literally all across the map. He's on the left, he's in the middle, he's on the right. He's playing everywhere, and that's exactly the danger that I was mentioning a bit before, that Skull is really one of the best team game players overall in this game. And he's definitely showing his Skull proficiency in the pocket position. So these tables are of course going to be coming a whole long way in actually securing the yellow opponent, basically keeping him inside his base, because he's not going to be allowed to go into any kind of raiding at all, because those reinforcements are going to be just a bit too strong and a bit too fast, especially coming into the battlefield, and with the paladins just being basically almost there. I wouldn't be surprised that once we see them and the opponent seeing that they are not really getting paladins anytime soon, that really could be the tipping point for them, and they might be feeling that they have had enough by that point. let's see about that. In the meantime, of course, red is also pushing forward significantly through the left side, as even though the Aztec is already aiming for the pikeman as he should be against all the horses, he's still not having the extra attack. He needs the castle for that, right? For the special upgrade for the infantry, which he apparently still doesn't have. It doesn't seem like that he's having the castle. He's nicely walled, of course, for the trade route. But looking how, the trade route is not going to be safe anymore anyway. Trebuchet coming up, so it seems like that actually Yannick is going to be having a very nice game right now against Skrath. Yep, this time for Mahori in the middle. The trade route is not going to be safe anymore, and this is basically just now going to be a pure ownage, as the paladins with the heavy camels are exactly the counter units to all those normalites from yellow, because yellow is still, even though he has advanced in the Imperial Age just about a few minutes ago, he's not ready for any upgrades. And unfortunately, purple is going to be the only one who could potentially help him. But yeah, right now GG's are going to be called, because the advantage for CZ is just a bit too big. And even though it looked quite promising against Ovenka, at least, by Goodfella, unfortunately he didn't do any kind of lasting damage, even though he stole the main goal. Ovenka already was scammed on the next one on the left. Yep, all those towers didn't really do anything all that significant. And well... It was really nicely stalled. This is exactly what Ovenka did against China Sai. And also a bit against Argentina, and what he's actually pretty good at, and that's basically stalling, giving time to his allies. And even though he is under pressure, it seems like that he should be crumbling just the next seconds, he isn't. He's still fighting on, and that's something that his teammates can actually count with. And even keeping his opponent busy is enough to actually let the strong pocket player, for example, like Skull, to basically develop into a state where he can help him significantly and even be annoying in the opposing base. And that's exactly what happened in here, basically. Skull was given the time, and he then protected his teammate as he should be, as a good friend and teammate as well. Okay, nicely played. Let's check the achievements. With Skull, most deservedly the MVP. For the opponents, well, Mahori was applying quite nice pressure, but I think he made the wrong choice in there. I think he made the wrong choice of not advancing the Imperial Age at one stage when I was actually switching into him when he was having 1000 food and about 200 gold. He needed about 500 extra gold to advance, and then he opted not to advance, and he advanced about, I don't know, 50 minutes later, and that was already way too late. I think that was a mistake for him. Not really sure if it would really win the game, but I think it was also at a stage where he actually could have had fairly calm advance into the Imperial. But yeah, those are the decisions that actually make or break the game. Yeah, you can see 42-minute advance. It's just quite late, about 7 minutes later than Skull. That's quite late. Okay, GG.